So sometimes when we can't help ourselves from caving in, we have to remember that actually, yes, heaven is a place on earth. And that's why I think these lyrics are so important. When we see testosterone-induced rides to the moon, mostly done by men, by the way, that money could be channeled into the planet because it is the earth that should be our mission, not the moon. We have to remember that heaven is earth. And we need to protect that. So I guess I'm going to ask the three of you just a few thoughts on what you do not to fall into despair. What made you think as you were listening to this song, what were you thinking about? Maybe I'll start with you, Adi.
Thank you. Just thank you so much, Tessa, for the song and for your work. And I love your music. So really, thank you. It's really good, and it represents a bit like obviously what we're all feeling, and we all have our journeys there. But I think it's really important to feel what we feel when we are like, when we want to cry, when we're so mad. And for me, I've been so engaged, and maybe I'm so much in my activist bubble that I don't know, like if tomorrow the parliament doesn't vote on a policy, I could cry over that. Yeah. Which sounds crazy, but it's true. Like I think being an activist or being so far into engagement, trying to make it sustainable, can only happen if you put yourself in a very vulnerable position. And if you don't feel what's happening really deep inside, like deep in your core, I don't think you can sustain your engagement. Because I think it's in those moments when you cry, when you're so mad, that you can only transform that energy afterwards into engagement. And then your engagement is not because facts and because we're now at 1.5 degree warming of the planet. Okay, no, but I don't know what that means concretely, but I feel it now. And that gets me so mad that then I transfer my energy. And I think it's important to say that I am able to transfer this sadness and angerness into action thanks to a collective, thanks to the fact that I'm not alone. I would never do it alone. I would literally stay in my bed. But the fact that there are friends who are there, okay, today you're the depressed one, no problem, I take you out of bed, let's go. Tomorrow it will be there, and I'll take them out of bed, right? And then we're organized. That's super important, the organization part, right? Organizing small, big, whatever, get going with a project. A project that goes much beyond your individual self. Like, obviously, you don't change the world alone. You don't even change anything alone. I don't even know if you can change yourself alone, right? But with others, it's crazy how much we can do and how much power we can have. And I think this transition moment, when we're not alone, when friends come over, when you're building this project that goes beyond yourself, and you don't even realize the impact that you have, right? Because I think activism is all about throwing seeds out there, and you never know if a tree was planted or not. You never know if it grew, right? Just hope it did. And if you have that mentality, I think it works. And that's the way I get over my sadness.
Beautiful, thank you. And let's remember that those seeds are then planting roots and foliage and tree trunks and anchoring us. And it's so important. That anchoring is fundamental. I've got it here, thank you. Quick, Shiva, just a quick thought.
Well, I mean, I was thinking, I feel so blessed that I have, within the bank, come into a role that very much is in alignment with my own values at the Institute, as I mentioned, where, in fact, one of the activities is promoting artists, helping artists have a voice in our society. So I was listening to you and thinking, my God, we need to do so much more for the artists, and perhaps really to tie it in with, then again, also the bank as an investor. Please, I think you were asking earlier, what can you do? Well, what you can do is certainly all of those who work on projects that need financing, make sure you know about all the various pools of financing that is actually around and available to you, whether it's at the European Commission under the European Innovation Council, whether it's EIB. And if you are not sure, reach out to us. We have an advisory area that can help you. I would also like to very briefly say to those of you who are either philanthropists or corporates, you have a very important role to help the innovators, either as their anchor customer or as that philanthropic money that can come in early on when they're trying to sort of become investment ready. So what I would like to say, generally EIB is an important player in here, but we need to work together. So do reach out to us. And the Institute is definitely the heart of the organization. So if you have anything that touches on youth, if you're a youth or an artist, please do reach out to the Institute, because that's where we can work together.
You know what I've been amazed by is that through the work that we've been doing at the Club of Rome and my work in facilitating difficult conversations, we've created circles of trust between institutions. And it is phenomenal to see the number of people in institutions, whether it be the European Commission, the Parliament, the EIB, the European Central Bank, who, when they are allowed to feel and express their worry, are then much more open to collectively working together in terms of solutions. It's hard being inside, by the way. Those of us who have been inside, I worked for the oil and gas companies, I put my hand up, it's not easy. But there are always, in every single oil and gas company, in every single institutional framework, there are change makers who feel alone, change makers who need a home where they can actually come with others and be part of that collective. So we need the collective outside and we need the collective inside. But we also need the inner dimension. And I know, Emmanuel, that you've also been a path, like I have, on creating that inner dimension. So how did this speak to you?
Well, thank you, Tessa. Thank you, Sandrine. It's so rare that you give us the opportunity to express emotion in such a stage. I think it's even unique. It's the first time, as far as I can remember. By the way, at MOVIN'ON, we created 2 years ago Mobile standing for Moving On Board of Young Leaders. It's a collective of young people. The claim, the promise was very simple. Is how to transform eco-anxiety into collective and positive impact. How to have your guts, your heart, and not only your brain expressing and acting. I think this is a strong power from the younger generation. This is a lot that you have to learn to teach us. And since you are inviting me to put a very, very personal expression, I'll do it. For 3 years, I was left by doctors with two words which made me crazy for 3 years. There was fight and acceptance. To me, fight was about winning, acceptance was... And then I realized that life was one. Life was one inside and outside, like all ecosystem. And it also takes not only your brain, your expertise, but your emotion, your guts, to make it happen collectively. And I want to end by one thing. It's not the youth against the elder and so on. It's the key is making it intergenerational, like we are trying to bring new data in an old software. You are coming up with a new software, and all together, hopefully, we can dream about a better future.
Thank you so much. Thank you.